Hi friends, so today I'm going to talk to you about a very interesting topic. What do our Vedas via Ayurveda, what do they say about the 9 psychological urges that we undergo while interacting with the environment? 9 psychological negative kind of urges. We will also answer a question that why did Ranveer Allahabadia say what he said on the India's Got Latent show. Now the 9 psychological urges are Krodha or anger, Bhaya or fear, then Shoka or grief, Lobha or greed, Maan or superiority, Nirlajja or shamelessness, Irshya or jealousy, Atiraag or too much attachment, Abhidaya or illwill. Whenever we encounter something that we don't like in our environment, whether it be an event or a person, we react immediately. These reactions are actually urges or instincts that come from our reptilian brain or the amygdala part of our brain. For everyone, the level of these urges differs on the kind of sanskaras that they have at this point of time. What Ayurveda says it that just because you got this urge, you do not have to act on them. Ayurveda says that if you want to have a good quality of life, if you want to be a success in life, and you want to have a very good experience of life, you want to reach your potential in life, you have to learn how to control these urges right at the time that they arise. You have to have the right way of handling these urges. It is not that you suppress them, but you have to know how to manage them and how to control them. You see that what happened with Ranveer, it can happen with anyone. Suppose you let your urges go unbridled, it not only harms you, but it will harm also the people who are connected with you, and it can turn your life topsy-turvy. We've just seen it. So we'll talk about these Vedas, what causes them and how we can control them. So of all these 9 Vedas, 3 of them, which is anger, grief and fear, these are what are called inevitable urges or Vedas. So these are called inevitable because all of us face it some or the other time in life. And these urges, they arise immediately when there is a trigger or a stimulus, and there are immediate physiological changes in our body when these urges arise. So we'll see one by one how these 3 Vedas are triggered. So anger usually arises because some of our desire is obstructed, or somebody disrespects us, or we feel a sense of injustice. That's when we get angry. Sometimes anger, of course, is also a defense mechanism to hide the insecurities that we may be suffering from. Uncontrolled anger will lead to conflict in relationships and impulsive decisions. Immediately to control anger, what can we do? Number 1, you should do slow, deep breathing. So when you stop, when you are angry, just take a moment, take a few deep breaths. Automatically you will have a better reaction and better interaction with your environment when you take this slow deep breath. So slow deep breathing is the first thing that you do. Then as a practice, you should do something called the Shitali pranayam, so your anger, you will not get so angry. So Shitali pranayam, you fold your tongue and like this. Not everybody is able to fold the tongues actually, so if you fold the tongue and then you breathe through the tongue, so it cools you. This is as a practice on a regular basis, not when you have got the anger. When you have got the anger, you should take a moment and do deep breathing. Second thing that you can do is immediately splash yourself with cool water if it's possible. Otherwise, have a glass of cool water or a cool drink. Then change the perspective. Take a moment and think, why are you angry? So you will know that somebody's gone against you, disrespected you, or you are feeling a sense of injustice. You try to reframe the situation in such a way that you can see the other person's point of view also, so your anger will cool down. So these are the 3 things that you can do to handle the anger. Now let's go on to the next one, and which is fear. The fear is caused due to perceived threats. The threats could be real or imagined. So basically, fear can be caused due to overthinking, nervousness, insecurity. For example, if a student is going for an exam and if they start thinking about, oh, am I going to fail? How will I do? So the more they think about it, the fear will be generated about how they will perform. So overthinking also leads to fear. A negative mindset that will create irrational fears and paranoia in people. And if you worry excessively about what will happen in the future, you will suffer from fear. A restless lifestyle, lack of routine, excessive stimulation all contribute to fearfulness. How do we control fear? So there are few ways in which we can handle our fear. We should go in for, when we are fearful, we have fear, we should do touch grounding therapy. So there we stand with our 2 feet without any footwear on the ground, and we can also hold some warm object or soft toy. So that will give us a lot of reassurance, and our fear will subside. Then we can repeat good mantras like Om Namah Shivaya, or we can read the Hanuman Chalisa. We should have warm foods. We should do the regulated breathing, where we breathe in 4 breaths, hold the breath for 4 counts, and breathe out long, like 8 counts. So when we do a short breath and a long exhale, our nervous system calms down and our fear subsides. We should do regular oil massages, and we should establish a good routine. So if we are anchored in a good routine during our day, we will not indulge in overthinking, and we will not suffer from unnecessary and baseless fears. Grief is triggered by any loss or heartbreak or a failure. Losing a loved one, losing a job or a relationship can trigger deep grief. Uncontrolled grief, it causes depression, lack of motivation, emotional numbness, and also it causes weakness in the body. What are the ways that we can control grief? We should allow tears. We should allow ourselves to cry so that the emotional toxins are released from our body. So that's the first thing. We should do a lot of self-care rituals like oil massage, warm baths. We should indulge in stimulating activities like dance, art, music. The diet should be light. You should have a lot of sunlight exposure to handle your grief. Obviously, social connections will work wonders, and kirtans and bhajans. And also to have a little rational thinking, don't just get carried away by emotions. Of course, you will feel grief, but then the whole idea is that do not prolong the grief. I mean, you should have the intention of coming out of the grief. Some people think that's okay, something has happened, now you have to always just keep grieving about it. No, be practical, be worldly wise, and move on with your life. The 6 Vedas like jealousy and greed and all that, they develop over a period of time, and then they become a part of our personality. So to handle this also, we have to keep working repeatedly on how we think, and we have to reprogram ourselves. Jealousy comes from comparison, inferiority, or feeling less than, or a combination of competition and insecurity. You are highly competitive, but also you have many insecurities about yourself, and that's how when you see the success of other people, you feel very jealous of them. Unlike anger, jealousy does not explode instantly. It just keeps simmering, and it kind of poisons our mind. So to control jealousy, we have to develop a feeling of contentment with ourselves. We have to shift our focus from what we lack to what we have. Let's see how we can control jealousy. To control jealousy, we should do gratitude journaling. Write any 3 or 5 things that you are grateful for every day. When you practice gratitude, your focus shifts from what you lack to what you have. So you start counting your blessings. Then your feeling of jealousy with other people will go down. Then you should avoid comparison with others. I mean, the thing is that everybody's life is unique. So there is no point in comparing with others. You compare yourself with yourself, how you were 2 days back, 1 month back, 2 months back, like that. You compare your progress with yourself, not with others. Limit exposure to social media, because that can be really triggering for many people. And you should do seva or selfless service. When you give to others selflessly, it really creates a lot of good feelings within you. You feel contented, and then your jealousy will go down. Also, when you are jealous, you little bit contemplate, you convert the jealousy to inspiration. I mean, you think that if they can do it, they can do so well, so can I. How can I learn from them, and have similar success? So you get inspired, not jealous. Lobha or greed. Now, greed develops through attachment and possessiveness. It creates mental stagnation, obsession, and attachment to material desires. It creates hoarding, and also it creates a desire to control people. So how do we control our greed? We need to practice detachment to control the greed. So the control mechanisms are: you have to declutter your environment, you do dan or charity, then do self-reflection. Understand why are you so attached to anything. Are you fearing something? So try to think through your insecurities. And also fasting. Regular fasting will help weaken the emotion of greed within you. The Vedas of mana or pride, Nirlajja or shamelessness, Atigra or excessive attachment, Abhidaya or illwill or resentment. These are all deep emotional and psychological tendencies. These Vedas arise due to our sanskaras or past impressions. Let's talk about Maan. Maan is pride, ego or arrogance. So Maan makes a person feel superior to others, leading to rigid ego and lack of humility. It arises when one identifies too strongly with achievement, status or knowledge. It could also be a mask to hide insecurities. So uncontrolled mana will cause a lot of ego clashes, conflicts and isolation, and it will block your spiritual growth. So let's see how do we control the manas. So you have to cultivate humility. For this you practice seva or selfless service. Then again gratitude journaling. Then have cooling foods. You develop the habit of listening more and speaking less. Stop dominating conversations. So this is how you will control your man. Then go for satsang. Satsang simply means keep the company of wise people. Next one is Nirlajja or shamelessness. So what is shamelessness? It's a lack of moral restraint. It can manifest as disrespect for societal norms, lack of self-discipline and unethical behavior. It arises when a person is too indulgent in desires and has no self-restraint whatsoever. This kind of person is too ego-centered and they tend to ignore their responsibility, and that is also a form of nirlajjata. So how to control nirlajjata? Self-reflection, which is daily journaling about actions and their impact. Discipline. Follow a structured daily routine and build self-restraint and discipline. Always don't indulge in everything that you want to indulge in. For example, it can even start with like you may be wanting to scroll your phone, but control yourself and do the work that you're supposed to do. This is how you will develop restraint on yourself. Then you keep keep good company. Practice meditation and mindfulness. So this way, you will become more self-aware of how your thoughts are going, and you will think before acting. I mean, this will help you to stop acting impulsively. Avoid excessive sensory stimulation, reducing exposure to distractions like excessive social media and very indulgent lifestyle. So all this will cause you to be kind of nirlajja and shameless, because you will think too much of yourself and you will not bother about societal norms and just say anything that comes to your mind, which we recently saw, right, with Ranveer. Next is Atiraga or excessive attachment to anyone. Now Atiraga is intense attachment or excessive emotional dependence on a person, object or experience. Unlike healthy love, Atiraga makes a person very clingy for his own happiness. Insecurity and unhealed trauma can cause Atiraga. So how can we control Atiraga or excessive attachment? You have to cultivate detachment or vairagya. This you can do through meditation, slowing your thoughts, thinking about it, and you should know, see, all these things, the awareness itself is enough. The very fact that you are aware that you should be less attached is enough. So you work on detachment. Then you have to have letting go rituals, like you write a letter of whatever unhealthy emotional ties you have and you just kind of destroy it. Then you eat light food, you practice self-love. You yourself indulge yourself so that you are not dependent on others. Then you also indulge in various diverse activities which you like, so that you are not obsessed with any one thing. You try to be self-sufficient for yourself and your emotional needs. Abhidaya is deep-seated resentment, hatred or ill will towards others. It creates mental toxicity, revengeful thoughts and inability to forgive. Unlike temporary anger, Abhidaya is a long-lasting and it poisons the mind. It also arises when you feel threatened by other people's success. So how should we control Abhidaya? To practice forgiveness, write a forgiveness letter. Even if you don't post it, just write it. The very fact that you are writing it, it will change your mindset. Then you do metta meditation. Metta meditation is practice loving kindness towards even those who hurt you. So first you start, in this meditation, first you shut your eyes and you send loving thoughts to people who you actually love, that is your close circle. Then you start increasing the circle to include your friends, then your acquaintances, then everybody who lives in your city, then ultimately the whole world, and also to people that you hate. So that is how you develop this forgiveness towards others, and you control your ill will. You shift your perspective. You understand other people's actions from a place of compassion. Put yourself in their shoes and try to understand their point of view. Then chanting mantras like Om Shanti or Soham meditation, that will also release your resentment. See, the bottom line is that we are not supposed to suppress these urges. What we are supposed to do is be aware of these urges as they arise, try to catch them at the inception itself, and control them and express them in an acceptable manner. It is important to accept that these urges are arising. So you accept them, you see them, you let them pass through you without expressing them or letting them be expressed without your conscious control on them. That is important. But you should not suppress them, you should accept them and go ahead. So friends, I do hope that this will help you in your life. Bye.